Good evening. Welcome to the meeting of the Skokie Village Board for Tuesday, June the 20th, 2023. This evening, we will be led in the Pledge of Allegiance by our village clerk, Pramod Shah.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The meeting will come to order and the clerk will please call the roll.
Trustee Sutker,
Here.
Trustee Robinson,
Here.
Trustee Kuhn,
Here.
Trustee Johnson,
Here.
Trustee Pure Slovan,
Here.
Trustee Klein,
Here.
Mayor Van Dusen.
Here, we have a quorum. Next item on the agenda is approval of the consent agenda for this evening's meeting. A motion is in order. Trustee Sutker, seconded by Trustee Johnson. Is there anything on the consent agenda anybody wants to have removed? If not, call the roll, please.
Trustee Sutker,
Aye.
Trustee Robinson,
Aye.
Trustee Kuhn,
Aye.
Trustee Johnson,
Aye.
Trustee Pure Slovan,
Aye.
Trustee Klein,
Aye.
Mayor Van Dusen.
Aye, the motion passes. It's my pleasure to introduce Commissioner Nicole Podest of the Skokie Board of Fire and Police Commission to do a swearing in this evening.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Van Dusen and village trustees, and all of you who are here this very special evening. I want to especially acknowledge the family of tonight's appointee. This is a proud moment for all of you. I extend my congratulations to you and thank you for supporting your loved one during this journey leading to this moment. Tonight, we will swear in a police sergeant. We must never forget that the men and women who serve as first responders deserve our admiration. They are often the first ones on the scene of a tragedy and provide security and support and comfort to those who are suffering. We invest our first responders with authority to promote and keep the peace. They have earned our respect, our support, and our gratitude, and it is my great honor to be part of this very special ceremony. So at this time, I would like to invite Demosthenes Nikolopoulos up to the podium. You're welcome. Okay. So raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Demosthenes Nikolopoulos,
I, Demosthenes Nikolopoulos,
do solemnly swear that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States of America,
do solemnly swear that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States of America,
the state of Illinois,
the state of Illinois,
the ordinances of the village of Skokie,
the ordinances of the village of Skokie,
and the rules and regulations
and the rules and regulations
of the Police Department and the Skokie Board of Fire and Police Commissioners,
of the Police Department and the Skokie Board of Fire and Police Commissioners,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of a police sergeant to the best of my ability.
of a police sergeant to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations.
Sergeant, would you introduce your family and friends who are here with
Absolutely,
you?
Mayor. With me tonight are my mother, Georgia, and my father, Peter.
Welcome.
My goddaughters, Alexa, Leah, and Spirigula and their families. Litany of friends, and my first sergeant, Sergeant Tom Mills. Alexa. Alexa and the family. Oh, my apologies.
Gotta get it right.
So we're really gonna pay for this one. I neglected to mention my nephew and niece, Katerina and Artemio, my sister-in-law Anna, and my brother's father-in-law George. And I'm gonna be buying toys probably 4 times this year. All right, 6.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's a proud moment. You know the department, how great it is, and it's a pleasure to see you move up in the ranks. I know you was Damon, but now you're my sergeant, so congratulations. It's a pleasure to be able to say that you're with the Skokie Police Department. You've done us proud, as has the entire department. We're proud of you guys, and as Nicole just said, you're the ones who protect us and keep us safe. So thank you for everything that you do for the department and for the community. We appreciate it. And why don't we take a few minutes so we can all congratulate Damon and the family can assemble. So let's take a short break. We will return to order. Next item on the agenda is report of our village manager, John Lockerbie.
Thank you, Mayor Van Dusen and trustees. Good evening, everyone. Item A is regarding a recommendation of code updates to Chapter 26. Since the Plan Commission recommended zoning changes that would make massage services an accessory use to other institutions, such as medical or physical therapy, staff collaborated with the American Massage Therapy Association. As a result of this work, an ordinance has been prepared that employs industry best practices to establish a standard for massage therapy establishments. Staff recommends code updates to Chapter 26 as presented in the memorandum included in the packet this evening. I concur with staff's recommendation. The mayor and board are respectfully requested to direct Corporation Counsel to finalize the necessary changes.
a motion on the manager's recommendation regarding code update to Chapter 26, Article 18 would be in order. Trustee Johnson, seconded by Trustee Klein. Are there any comments or any questions?
Just really, really quick, for the folks who are out of touch or disconnected with this whole deal, I was gonna ask Mr. Lockaby if you could just give a quick synopsis of what happened and why we're back today.
Sure. And I'm going to ask Johanna Knighton, the Director of Community Development, who's been directly involved, to join us at the podium. And so originally, the Plan Commission looked at this from a land use perspective and made a recommendation to, consider massage therapy as a secondary use. And as we continued our conversations with the Massage Therapy Association and specifically with some national individuals, we determined that the first step should be to strengthen the code, not land use code, but the village code as it relates to regulating massage therapy and codify best practices. And so that is before you this evening, and to elaborate on those best practices, Johanna Knighton, and she has been working in collaboration with the Corporation Counsel's office.
Good evening. So a couple of the items you'll notice in the ordinance that were updated include regulations related to health standards, things that address how the rooms are managed and how they're prepared and how they're operated when they're in use. And those were things that staff that were in our code but needed a little bit of an update. So that was an added bonus to this process, and we thank the work of AMTA for helping do this. But another piece that the village was interested in the attempt to address through land use was looking at how the operation functions within our street and along on our retail streets and in other parts. So things that address how the windows are treated, keeping the windows open, and the hours of operation. Those were things that helped get to where we were trying to address our concerns as it related to land use and in the street presence and creating an active business areas, whether they're in shopping centers or just in our downtown.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? If not, call the roll, please.
Trustee Sutker.
Aye.
Trustee Robinson.
Aye.
Trustee Kuhn.
Aye.
Trustee Johnson.
Aye.
Trustee Pure Slovin.
Aye.
Trustee Klein.
Aye.
Mayor Van Dusen.
Aye, the motion passes.
Items B and C were approved as part of tonight's consent agenda, and that completes my report this evening.
Thank you. Next item is report of the Corporation Counsel, Michael Lorge.
Thank you, Mayor, trustees. I'm joined this evening with Avi Funk, Assistant Corp Counsel. Item A on my agenda is up for first reading tonight. Periodically, the Liquor Commissioner recommends updates to our liquor code to reflect evolving practices in the state liquor code or to respond to requests from our business community that are engaged with the sale of liquor. This ordinance that's before you tonight will expand the number of commercial liquor districts, which we refer to as Class E licenses in the village, with the creation of a Class E7 license entitled East Central District, and it will include the eastern portions of Main Street. You'll recall there have been some discussions about that section of Main Street in terms of economic development. Additionally, an E-license will be extended to the Office Research Zoning District. This ordinance also reflects the change in the state statute to allow sealed single-serving containers to be sold by restaurants for pickup or what we refer to as first-party delivery. Finally, there would be the addition of a P license within Old Orchard. These updates to Chapter 10 of the Village Code will be beneficial to and encourage the village's economic vitality by assisting existing restaurants and encouraging future restaurants in the village. Mayor, this matter will be up on agenda for second reading at the July 3rd board meeting.
Thank you. Are there any comments or any questions?
That would then conclude my report.
If not, next item, I think Trustee Johnson.
I just, under new business, I wanted to just ask, I wanted to follow up on a few agenda items from our May Village Board meetings, since these items are supposed to return to the board at some point in the near future. So I just wanted to follow up about when we're going to be scheduling and discussing these items. The first is, we have not yet responded to the Illinois Attorney General's determination from April that we violated the Open Meetings Act during some of our January closed sessions, and we've been asked to vote on this. I'm kind of curious, when will this be scheduled for a village board agenda?
Next board meeting.
Awesome.
Coincidentally, this morning I received the report from the outside counsel, Jim Ferrolo. He makes a recommendation. I will get it to everybody by the end of the week. It's pretty detailed, down to the minute, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
You and I had a conversation at one point trying to figure out, how do you do this? He makes a specific recommendation
Okay.
that I think is reasonable. It's an important issue because we need to get guidance on how do you do performance review. And I found the public access officer's letter to us confusing, almost contradictory in some points. So I asked Mr. Ferrillo to review the entire thing, which he did, and he's made a recommendation, so you will all get it this week.
Awesome. Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate that. At our May 20th meeting, we discussed revisions to our appointment process for village attorneys. And we talked about how a draft ordinance would return to us at some point in the future. I just wanted to ask what this process is looking like, and is there any sense of when this draft ordinance will reach the board?
That's a good question. I've been trying to figure out what it is the board concluded that evening. And I've talked to most of the members of the board at some point or other to try and get some clarification, and it's only gotten more complicated, not clarified. I have not directed a whole lot of attention aside from my conversations on this. I've been concentrating quite a bit on the revisions to the liquor ordinance and the PAC's report to us. I hope that we'll be able to have something to the board in the very near future.
Cool. I appreciate that. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Thank you. Next item is 4 reports of our Plan Commission. Johanna Neiden.
All right, good evening again. So the first item is Plan Commission Case 2021-30P, which was referenced earlier in the evening in regard to a case that had been before you regarding vape shops and massage therapy establishments. So the recommendation here is to move forward on the case as it relates to vape shops. So at its December 2nd, 2022 meeting, the Plan Commission reviewed restrictions to vape shops and tobacco sales and massage parlors as allowed in the zoning chapter. The matter was held on January 3rd at the 2023 board meeting to address further concerns regarding massage therapy establishments. As this was addressed, we were only asking you to take action on the vape shop. So staff proposed changes to land use designation from tobacco or tobacconist establishments to cigarette and tobacco sales, and redefine the use by limiting sales to grocery, pharmacy, or convenience stores. Tobacco sales would be limited to no more than 20% or 100 linear feet of shelf space or display area in the store, whichever is less. As noted in their respective definitions, the changes will prohibit standalone establishment as a primary use. Existing vape shops, tobacco stores can continue to operate and will be deemed legal non-conforming uses. New establishments or an expansion of the use will not be permitted. The Plan Commission recommended by a vote of 6 ayes and 0 nays and 3 members absent that the Chapter 118 zoning of the Skokie Village Code be amended as noted in the staff report.
A motion on the case 2021 P, zoning chapter amendment, the trustee Johnson, seconded by trustee Kuhn. Is there any comment, any suggestions? Call the roll, please.
Trustee Sutker,
Aye.
trustee Robinson,
Aye.
trustee Kuhn,
Aye.
trustee Johnson,
Aye.
trustee Pure Slovin,
Aye.
trustee Klein,
Aye.
Mayor Van Dusen.
Aye, the motion passes.
And then the next three all relate to 3301 and 3321 Howard Street. There are three cases to be addressed separately. 2023-03P is a site plan approval, 2023-04P is special use permit, and 2023-05P is also a special use permit. During its May 4th, 2023 meeting, the Plan Commission heard requests for a site plan approval and special use permit for an automotive fuel station and a car wash at 3301 and 3321 Howard Street in an M3 industrial zoning district to allow two principal buildings on one lot, as well as a special use permit for 3321. The site consists of two separate properties that are currently not internally connected to each other. The site presently contains a Shell gas station with an attached car wash, 3301 Howard Street, and a vacant Grand Prix gas station, 3325 Howard Street. The two sites are proposed to be consolidated into one site, with the former Grand Prix Fuel Station Center replaced by a tunnel car wash that will include 20 vacuum stations and will have shared cross-access with the Shell Fuel Center. Further, the existing Shell Fuel Center car wash will be removed and the space will be repurposed as storage hallways for an existing convenience store. No changes are proposed to the number of fuel positions and/or the size of the retail space within the convenience store serving the Shell Fuel Center. Access to the Shell Fuel Center and proposed car wash will be provided via the two existing restricted access drives on McCormick Boulevard and one full access drive and one restricted access drive on Howard Street. The Plan Commission recommended by a vote of 5 ayes, 0 nays, and 4 absent that the petitioner's request for site plan approval as amended to allow a fence along Howard Street for an automated fuel station and a car wash in an industrial zoning district, allowing two principal buildings on one lot, a special use permit for an automotive fuel station in an M3 industrial zone to modify the existing site plan and landscape plan, and a special use permit for car wash in an M3 industrial zoning be approved.
We need three separate votes. The first is on site plan approval, case 2023-03P. A motion would be in order. Trustee Pure Slovin, seconded by trustee Klein. Are there any comments or any questions? If not, call the roll.
Trustee Sutker,
Aye.
trustee Robinson,
Aye.
trustee Kuhn,
Aye.
trustee Johnson,
Aye.
trustee Pure Slovin,
Aye.
trustee Klein,
Aye.
Mayor Van Dusen.
Aye, the motion passes. The next would be special use permit, case 2023-04P. Motion is in order. Trustee Sucker, seconded by trustee Robinson. Are there any comments or questions? If not, call the roll, please.
Trustee Sutker,
Aye.
trustee Robinson,
Aye.
trustee Kuhn,
Aye.
trustee Johnson,
Aye.
trustee Pure Slovin,
Aye.
trustee Klein,
Aye.
Mayor Van Dusen.
Aye, the motion passes. And then finally, case 2023-05P, special use permit. Motion is in order. Trustee Klein, seconded by trustee Kuhn. Any comments or questions? If not, call the roll.
Trustee Sutker,
Aye.
trustee Robinson,
Aye.
trustee Kuhn,
Aye.
trustee Johnson,
Aye.
trustee Pure Slovin,
Aye.
trustee Klein,
Aye.
Mayor Van Dusen.
Aye, the motion passes. Next item on the agenda is public comment. Anybody wishing to address the village board?
Hi. Sorry, hi. My name is Diana Rumsley, Mayor Trustees, Village Manager. I had a question. Back in May, you guys did a first reading on the affordable housing. It was supposed to be up for a second reading and adoption today. What is the Is there a status on that? Is it gonna be coming back? When is
Yeah.
it gonna be read?
Michael? Do you think it'll be coming back?
Depending on some discussion internally, we could come back in 4 weeks easily.
Okay.
We had a couple of open questions that evolved after the first reading, and we have discussions with staff in-house. We should be able to clarify them in the next couple of weeks.
So it'd be either the next meeting or at the latest, the meeting after that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
That was one question. I am Kimberly Polka, resident of Skokie. I am wondering if there's a status on the release of the minutes from the closed sessions for the January meetings. I remember hearing something about 60 days. I'm not real clear on the law. I am not a lawyer, but 60 days, if that were the case, would be June 28th or something from that letter.
It's the next board meeting.
It's gonna be on the next
That's
agenda?
what I replied to Trustee Johnson about. Yeah.
I'm not Trustee Johnson. That's why I'm asking.
Well,
Okay,
no, I
thank
said
you.
it publicly, just
Oh,
a few minutes ago.
I had to go potty when I
No,
walked in. I
okay,
didn't know.
that's not a problem. We got the report of the outside counsel this morning.
All right, terrific, thank you.
TMI.
Never mind.
Hi, Rachel Van Hoos. All of the ordinances for tonight in the businesses brought up a lot of thoughts in my mind about my neighborhood. Some things I wanted to bring up is, of course, the Hilton. I think the public all deserves to know what's going on with the skeleton of the work site there. You know I made the Kenny Rogers Roasters joke about Carvana, but the neighbors that live in the condo buildings next to there, of course they expect a hotel to go up, but there's fluorescent lights on all 8 floors and nothing's happening there. All of the sponsors' banners were taken down over a month ago, and if the developer is going to fall through, like if we can get ahead of that, that would be better, because I do want this Hilton, I hate to see April, May, June, coming on July, these peak construction months, and, it's empty and people have to walk around the sidewalk. That's more than I wanted to say about the Hilton, but all of these ordinances about the massage parlors and vapes and things, it's totally needed. I think the unspoken thing here is in some of these massage parlors, I think you all know there's human trafficking and prostitution going on, and that is why I hope you put some teeth to these ordinances and go in and ensure that the businesses do have not the licenses that they get from, Cook County, to make sure that that is not the type of activity that's going on. Because I can tell you one on my street, and I know there's other corners in Skokie, it just got me thinking about, there's a lot of activity on Main Street and Thought going in there, and also down Oakton, where I live. It's, you lived in Detroit, Mayor, it's like Detroit. It's like Warren Boulevard down there or something, or, you're driving. It's like potholes on the Lodge Freeway. Sorry for all the Detroit references. But where do we start to... Where can we create ordinances, because these came quick and they're lengthy, and they're detailed, that hold the landlords accountable for the presence, because there's an environmental justice thing here going where we have, the broken window psychology of our kids walking by these old dry cleaners with a dead rot in it and the ceilings falling out, and the lingerie shop where they left in October and you just have a thong in the window every day. So where do we hold some accountability for the landlords? I mean, even just to clean your property if it is vacant, put vinyls up, just, those are just ideas. But walking down the streets, it's not fair to our families what we see inside the windows of this, and then you have a vape store. So the vape stores are at least good tenants, pay the rent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Vicki Wolfinger. Good evening, Mayor and trustees. Thank you for the opportunity to speak in front of this body this evening. I came here with a couple of concerns, one of which I have emailed to this body 3 times over the past few months and has yet to be addressed. I'm here this evening to once again bring this request to this body as well as address continued issues with transparency. I will start with my concern over the lack of transparency. I became aware that the Skokie Village Board was under investigation by the Attorney General for potential Open Meetings Act violations. I was really disappointed when I heard the mayor's response to AG recommendations to disclose public business discussed in a closed session. The Open Meetings Act requires that the business of the public be conducted in an open meeting that is accessible to the public. Closed sessions, as you know, are meetings for very specific purposes, typically for the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees. They're meant for discussion of, generally speaking, HR matters, not public matters such as process of appointment of public employees or any other public business. I'm concerned that the mayor responded with a "we don't have to follow this" in what is being recommended by the Attorney General. I'm here to urge the trustees to be open with the community, be transparent, be honest, and release the portions of the recordings of the meetings that violated the Open Meetings Act. You're our neighbors, our friends, fellow community members, and elected officials that promise transparency and honesty to the constituents. This is not transparent, and if there is nothing to hide, then please don't leave us with any questions or doubts over transparency. This brings me to my next point, which I alluded to earlier. I have emailed this board at least 3 times over the past few months requesting that all public comments submitted to this board are made available to the public online and easily accessible. The current process is cumbersome, requiring one to go to the village hall during business hours to request a copy of the public comments. Or, as somebody mentioned, you have to FOIA them. In this world of technological advances, it seems unnecessary and unduly burdensome to only have access to public comments only if you can make it to Village Hall. It becomes the burden of your constituents to have access to public information and should be your duty to make public business available to your constituents. You might ask why this is important and worth me coming out to speak to you tonight. To my knowledge, every public body in our area has a fully transparent process that allows their constituents to read and try to understand views and comments of other community members by making public comments available online and in board packets. This is often how we learn. It can help start dialogue with neighbors. It helps us re-examine our own views and gives us an opportunity to connect with others who may have different opinions from our own. If public comments were made public, the community would see that there was never a list of 350 plus Skokie households opposing inclusive housing. It was simply a list alphabetized by first name with multiple household members signing the list.
Your time is up.
You didn't
Everybody
cut
gets-
anybody else off, Mayor.
Everybody gets 3 minutes.
I don't think you cut anybody else off.
Nobody exceeded 3 minutes.
Fair enough.
No, I'm sorry. But we do it, we've done that very consistently.
Good evening, I'm Emmy Yamauchi, resident of Skokie. In a follow-up to the statement about Homewood Suites, I guess I have a question. Is there an update? At the June 5th meeting, you said you were expecting an update in the near future, or soon, sorry, soon.
Yes.
So, like, would soon be tonight?
Not this evening, but I would expect by the next board meeting.
Okay, July 3rd then. Okay, thank you. Secondly, about the electoral reform contract with the law firm, I'm just wondering, is that kind of contract available to residents to take a look at, what the terms are, or do we have to file a FOIA, a Freedom of Information Act request?
No, it can be available.
Okay, so just an email to
Yeah.
you, Mr. Lockerbie?
Mike Alexic is the purchasing agent, the assistant finance director, and he's the one that has that document, and so Mike Alexic can be contacted.
Okay, thank you. And then you said that the inclusionary housing ordinance would probably be on the July 3rd or at the latest the next meeting after
Yes.
that. So I'm just wondering about projects that are kind of like, just a glimmer in somebody's eye, or that preliminary talks have started on. Are those developers being sort of notified that there
course.
will be
Of
a
course.
minimum affordable
Yes.
housing requirement? Okay,
Yes.
that's great, and that includes Westfield, right? Westfield is still on
Yes.
the boards for that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, I'm Judy Mendel, and I agree with Vicki because I also wondered about public comments because I called once. I think it was your office, Mayor, and it's like, why aren't they online? No, maybe it was a clerk's office that she said, you get them in an email, you print them out, and then you can read them. It's like, well, why can't they just be online? So, and I also in the village minutes, where people are making public comments here, and I look at the minutes that you approve, and it doesn't really say much. It just says somebody commented on this. There's no pro, against, or any more lengthy description. I don't know what other communities do, but it would be nice to see what other residents are saying. And I'm just going to finish what she was saying, what Vicki was saying. If public comments were made available, we would know who is concerned about board policies and give us an opportunity to have dialogue to help us understand each other. If public comments were easily accessible, there would not be a need for community members to show up incognito with hats and sunglasses to express their concerns over policies and future board decisions. It would bring transparency and opportunity to our community to reach out to those whose opinions we may not understand or have not considered. So I'm here in person after months of submitting public comments online, requesting a simple systemic change to benefit our community. It is an easily remedied request in this world of advanced technology. Please help our community come together and make this simple procedural change for the benefit of our community. Thank you for your time. And I just wanted to also, when I thought about it when Rachel was talking about the Hilton, the dentist office at the corner of Church and Crawford also has totally stopped their construction. Just curious why. And also the building at the little strip mall at East Prairie and Dempster is in awful condition. And I contacted Neighborhood Services. They haven't contacted me back. I've FOIA'd because I'm curious what's going on. I mean, the paint is awful. There's rust on the lights. The sidewalk is a mess. It's just not well taken care of, and it looks awful. And in fact, all of East Dempster is, especially with the CVS vacant now, the Leona's it's nice with grass, but it's been empty for years. I just wonder what development is going on. And I don't like the new building that's going up next to US Bank. It's the same as CVS with zoning. It's so close to the street. It's like, I don't know, it's feeling like, skyscraper alley. It's not skyscrapers, but you know what I mean? I don't know why it's so close to the sidewalk. So I know I'll go to a zoning meeting and ask.
Hi, I'm Lauren Grodnicki. I'm glad that I made it here just in time. I'm sorry that I didn't come earlier. Last time I was talking to you about my neighbor's landscaper spraying weed killer in their yard, which then blew into my yard and it made the tomatoes shrivel. They're in even worse condition now than they were then. I do have raspberries that I would like to offer you. I don't feel comfortable eating them because, as far as I know, they've incorporated weed killer into it. Now, I can't avoid having weed killer in my yard because we allow it to be sprayed and there's always at least a little bit of wind. So if you guys are comfortable, I have 8 raspberries here that have ripened so far. If you don't want to eat them, I urge you to come up with a ban soon. There are templates in plenty of other towns. Even Dubuque, Iowa has banned glyphosate. So please ban this. And I really do mean it. Raspberries, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening. Tisha Dowdy, a resident of Niles, a parent of a current student at Niles West and also of a future student of Niles West. I came here in the fall expressing my concern about the traffic at the drop-off on the south end of Niles West High School. and had requested some assistance with Officer Larson, who is at Niles West. And working with Chief Baker, we accomplished the presence of Officer Larson doing traffic control in the morning, which is absolutely amazing. You know, I'm all about safety, and the things that I was seeing were very concerning. Everyone is in a hurry, and it definitely has helped him being there, and I hope that will continue without any, you know, delay or, you know, with any stoppage. Also, I want to express my gratitude to Officer Larson. I deeply am grateful to him for being in the schools at Niles West High School, and I understand there is another police officer at Niles North. As a parent, it's very reassuring to have his presence there, and with school shooting happening just about every week around this country, which is very scary, the reassurance is I can sleep at night. So thank you for that. Thank you to the police officers in Skokie and their service, and to this board. One suggestion I have for this board, I do attend board meetings at the Village of Niles, and when they do have public comments, they have this cute little clock that does, it's like a countdown clock to 3 minutes. You know, so then the speaker can also see where their thoughts are in relation to, you know, getting their public comment across, you know, how much time they have left. So just a little suggestion, you know, what I see at other board meetings. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, trustees, James Becker, speaking on behalf of the American Massage Therapy Association. I would like to, you know, personally thank John, Johanna, Michael for their collaboration and getting this ordinance right. Really don't have much other than that, other than to say, you know, just I've seen tonight in writing and in comment the term massage parlor, and I just want to go on record to say that that is a defamatory and derogatory statement, and no state licensed massage therapist in the 47 states where we are licensed use that term, and my association does nothing but, you know, try to remove that from state law, federal code, and other places. But thank you, and I appreciate the work that you all did. So,
Thank you.
Could thank James for his collaboration.
Certainly.
James,
James, thank you. Thank you for your collaboration. It was a two-way street, and we appreciate your help in getting it done. Trustee Johnson.
Oh, I wasn't planning on making a public comment, but just I wanted to kind of echo some of the concerns that were mentioned about written public comments. And I would also like to kind of advocate that we do a little more to make written public comments more easily accessible. In-person public comments are very accessible. Anyone can see them on our YouTube page. There's always a link on the website. Written public comments are not as accessible. I would totally support, as a couple residents mentioned, putting them in our agenda packets with meeting minutes. Sometimes there's not much or anything. Sometimes we don't have any written public comments. Tonight we only have 2. But sometimes we have dozens. Sometimes they're really kind of important feedback that we receive, and kind of by their nature they are public, and so should be pretty easily publicly accessible, in my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Sucker.
I move we adjourn.
We are adjourned.